Hi, my name is Yunatska and I'm the producer of AniFilm AniPlay Seeing Through project. Our IP is about our perspectives and how it come together. We can't look at everything without our knowledges, opinions, which of course affects what we see. These are our perspectives. The same is happening to the sound and music. We interpret it. And exactly about that is our IP. And now I want to give the word to our AniFilm director. I hope you will like it.
Hi, I'm Mikael. I'm the film director of Seeing Through. The possibility of working with changes in perspective was something that clearly resonated with everyone in our team during the idea finding process. We, as I guess most other people, were very familiar with situations where we would observe other people and wonder how it would be to see things through their eyes. One such situation that we could all recognize was waiting to get from one point to another in a train or subway. So after formulating our central question, which was, if you were able to take on the perspective of a passenger sitting across you on a train, what would you perceive? We began pinning down the story. Because we mainly wanted to depict different ways of perceiving a situation, we spent a long time finding the right characters for our film and creating the small stories between them. It was important for us to challenge stereotypes, so we gave a lot of consideration to how our characters were perceived compared to how they themselves perceived the situation. One of the big challenges in creating the story was to narrow down our set of characters, as we knew it would otherwise be too elaborate a project for the limited time we had. For the style of the film, our early idea was to work with shapes and lines. We wanted to build up all our characters from abstract shapes in such a way that they would be only identifiable when the lines were added on top of the shapes. But after trying out several designs, and as we didn't have much time for experimentation, we decided to go a bit away from this idea and stick to a simpler style. The basic idea we settled on was to have the shapes of the characters stay more or less the same throughout the different perceptions, mainly differing in their colors. The drawn lines on top of the shapes would be the main difference between the perceptions and would indicate the characters' unique ways of looking at things. We knew we wanted the film to take place in a Berlin subway, and after taking a little trip to Berlin and trying out all the U-Bahn lines, we finally decided on the U3 between Ulanstraße and Warschaustraße. From the reference pictures, we created a 3D model, which turned out to be very helpful for creating the style frames for the film, and when we later had to animate the backgrounds. We generally couldn't find many references for what we visually wanted to achieve, which meant we had to do quite a bit of testing during pre-production. One of the challenges we had was to make the perspective changes between our characters. For the film to work, we knew it was important to find a clear and simple way to convey this transition and at the same time make it look odd and otherworldly, because traveling from one person's perception to the perception of another person is, after all, an impossible journey. As our team consisted of many experienced animators, and also due to some time pressure, we used the different animation styles of our team members to bring out the difference in the characters' perceptions by having each animator work fully on one character's perception. To tie the animation style together and not have the finished film look like several films put together, we had one person doing all the cleanup of the line work. Like the visuals for the film, the sound design and the music was used to underline the different quality of each perspective. To achieve this, slight changes were made to the individual sounds by, for example, changing the frequencies, the pitch and the volume, and for the music by changing the instrumentation between each perspective. The project was truly an exercise in the art of teamwork, and we all had to take on multiple roles and learn a bunch of new things to come to the final result. And there's definitely a lot to explore on the subject of human perception. We could have spent a lot more time getting deep into the possibilities of how to use this theme in animation, and we might have at first have underestimated the necessary research. We hope our film and our installation can in some way inspire others to look beyond whatever stereotypes they may carry with them and challenge the way they quietly observe others, for example during late-night subway rides.
Hi, I'm Riyaaz. For the AniFilm, I was involved in pre-production, content development, and animation, and for the AniPlay, I was the director. Initially, we came up with a lot of concepts which included games and various interactive experiences where people could control some like characters or see the characters from their perspectives. We did not really relate with it because we missed the relatable factor of people getting involved in our experience and they being able to project what they think or what their perspectives are. And that's how we arrived to a concept of installation. We tried to have a system where people could see their perspectives take a visual form along with sound, and each of them have their perspectives to contribute to, and as a result of which they see a common image form on the screen, a curtain, which is located in the middle of the train, and it divides the train into two sides, one being the observer side and the other being the observing side.
So my name is Charlene and I am the technical director of this project. For our installation, we used 4 different sensors for the people to interact with. On the observed side, we have a Kinect that creates the shadows of the persons, and on the other side, we have 3 different biosensors. One is a heartbeat sensor, which is plugged into a microcontroller, and one seat pressure sensor, which is also connected to a microcontroller, and one brainwave sensor, which is a standalone product that we got. We combine all this data that we collect from the sensors into our key software, which is called Touch Designer. There we process this data and produce our visuals.
Hi, I'm Amelie and I am the art director and set designer of this IM project. For the visual, we decided to try to stay close to the movie, but we really had a lot of concepts on that because we need to figure out how to combine the visuals with the sensor input. So for the Kinect side, the shapes are just in one color but changing by the distance to the camera, and they all have an outline like in the movie. For the heartbeat sensor, every heartbeat sends out a wave, and this wave then disturbs the shape of the other users. As soon as somebody sits on the seat pressure sensor, the whole picture gets a shock wave, and after that, the positioning of the seating controls a spotlight on the visual. And the brainwave sensor, its visual is white blocks which look like lights passing by the train. And as soon as somebody puts on the brainwave sensor, the height of them changes according to the brainwaves. All the visual elements contributed by the users in the experience come together in a whole image which reflects the perspective of everybody in the scenery.